Welcome back to Women with ADHD in the Workplace. In this episode, we'll explore executive function challenges, a core aspect of ADHD that profoundly affects the professional lives of numerous women. I'm Alex Foty, an MBA student at the University of Toronto's Rotman School of Management and a BMO GATE MBA Fellow. I created this project to highlight the challenges and strengths of women with ADHD in the workplace and find ways for organizations and managers to better support them. The shortfall in executive functions associated with ADHD critically underpins behavioral self-regulation across numerous dimensions. This includes setting priorities, initiating and organizing work, allocating and transitioning attention among tasks, maintaining alertness, commitment, and processing speed throughout task execution, managing frustration, controlling emotions, as well as navigating challenges related to working memory and recalling information. Given these comprehensive impacts on cognitive and emotional regulation, ADHD is recognized as a disability. That said, it's important to consider that despite these challenges, many individuals with ADHD learn strategies to think and work differently, to play to their strengths. They can also turn out to be some of the most creative, dynamic members of your team if given the right supports and allowed to work in a way that suits their unique brains.
Diagnosis in itself hasn't changed you, but it's given you insight. How has that impacted your personal and professional life?
The other one is executive dysfunction. For me is massive.
For someone who's never come across the term executive dysfunction before, how would you describe that to them in a way that someone who's never heard that would understand?
Most people would understand paralysis by analysis. The problem is that with neurotypicals that they're like, well, just get it done. And that doesn't work. Now that I work out for myself, everything is very interesting to me, but if I'm doing something that's not interesting at all, that's a big one. Is like, I'll just be like, put it off. Once I get going, like I can do a week's worth of writing in an afternoon. And that's really, I think, one of the things that we have to look at with neurodivergency in women is that we see things differently. So for me, I don't have a box, right? So I can make connections everywhere because I can just cross over the box.
I think it's interesting because I think that for me, how I understand my ADHD is having a motor in my brain that I have every intention of using that motor to drive to one task. But then it's the directions of that car with that motor are lost. And so then it's oh, well, we can go this way. And so there's the drive and the intention of doing things, but then the map is changed so frequently. So then the driver, a la me, is stuck in driving in circles. Yeah. And then it's well, do I even know how to drive a car? I think because I also know that I'm really smart and pick things up quickly, plus then not having sometimes those skills to be able to drive it in the direction that you need to is tough. But then also the hard part is that with that drive and interest or demand, then I excel, right? And so it's this history of having incredible positive ability to be able to drive the car in that direction, coupled with these other times that it's super hard.
Exactly, that is what I'm hoping comes out of these interviews. Here's a bright young woman, clearly capable, clearly good at what she does. And, where a lot of peers are okay, jump and move up and whatnot. You're saying, I'm actively choosing, to forego a salary raise because I'm concerned that that environment is not going to be for me. If I have a little impact in this project, I hope that I can reach organizations to say, look at who you're missing out on.
In a landscape where organizations continuously seek a competitive advantage by promoting innovation and creativity, it's paradoxical that many workplace policies still expect all employees to conform to a standardized way of working. This systemization contradicts the push for more innovation in our corporate and organizational strategies, highlighting a disconnect in achieving true workplace diversity and innovation.
Certain things, certain features of the workplace bring order and
are important, but it's just really hard to care about them the same way. Experience of just like, continually not being understood over the course of your life. It's just very hard to contend with on a regular basis. I completely understand where you're coming from, and you're not alone in this.
A recurring theme from numerous interviews conducted for this project reveals that women with ADHD frequently experience a sense of being misunderstood in their professional environments. This misunderstanding primarily stems from a misinterpretation of their executive function challenges, notably difficulties with organization, prioritization, and task completion, as indicators of personal or professional incompetence. Rather than recognizing these issues as symptoms of ADHD, there is a tendency to view them through a lens of individual failure, overlooking the distinct nature of these cognitive hurdles. It's essential for employers and colleagues to recognize that having preferences or needs to work in a way that contradicts organizational norms is not necessarily indicative of an employee's work ethic or commitment. The brains of individuals with ADHD work differently, and therefore might need to get their work done differently. As we've heard today, ADHDers often exhibit unique strengths that can be highly beneficial in a workplace context, despite challenges with executive functioning. Their creative and innovative thinking can lead to novel solutions and fresh perspectives on complex problems. As a manager, you can adopt several accommodating approaches, even without specific knowledge of any team member's individual struggles with these issues. By understanding ADHD not as a barrier but as a different way of interacting with the world, we can begin to appreciate the diversity of thought and experience it brings. Stay tuned for our next episode, where we'll tackle emotional dysregulation and overstimulation, further uncovering the multifaceted experiences of women with ADHD and their professional journeys.